this is Rick coming at you with Weed to No Basis, the podcast for all things cannabis business related. Are you an entrepreneur? Have something you wanted to create, something you wanted to bring to life in the cannabis industry? Maybe you've always wanted to partake in one of the biggest industries in modern day history. This is the podcast to listen to. Hey guys, we're back for another episode of Weed to No Basis. And remember, you're listening or watching because you too are on a Weed to No Basis. Now, I'm very repetitive, as you all know. I'm repetitive because it builds that habit muscle. It builds those things that are essential to, especially a business owner, but really to anybody, habits. And the reason why I said that is because we're here at home. We're here at HepQ, which is where we do a lot of, well, the majority of our live in-person recordings. And we have a guest today I'm going to introduce in a sec. And if you guys aren't on YouTube or WeTube watching, don't worry about it. You can always go back and watch this on YouTube, but we do record this so you can actually watch the interview live and see us face to face. But today, guys, I'm super stoked. I'm super stoked because a few reasons. One is I have my friend Dave Peters here, and I'm going to introduce him to you. But second is we're recording this in early 2020 in South Texas, and we had snow last night. Like, this was, the weather said, right, Dave, the weather said the first time in 2 years we had snow. And okay, if you're in Colorado, it's all relative, but we're in South Texas, and there was snow that came down, and it was pretty cool. So, but either way, guys, we're coming at you live, and today I have a buddy of mine. This is Dave Peters, the founder and president of Reef Natural. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you. It's been a while, and I wanted to be on the show for a long time, so thank you for having me.
I'm super stoked that you came down. I think it's much more impactful when you're sitting down with somebody and you can actually talk to them, and you just happen to be based in Texas as well.
Yes, been here about 13 years. My family brought me here, so.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. From where?
I came from Colorado, so I was in Vail area, Eagle Vail. So I had a fun time there where I was a volunteer firefighter and an EMT for 6 of those years, also doing construction, so it was wonderful.
Really?
Powder skiing, snowmobiling, making your own virgin powder, 8 figure 8s all the way down the mountain. I mean, gorgeous.
Vail, Colorado, San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah, family, you gotta go where family's at.
No, I hear you. I remember you talking about it, but I didn't realize it was, I'm originally from Southern Cal, from LA,
yeah.
And family brought us to Texas years ago. And do you ever miss Vail?
Yes, and I go back and see my buddies and visit it a couple times a year, so.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you're still in touch with the old homies in Colorado.
Definitely.
Nice. So interesting thing is, as you guys know, you all know that there's just a plethora of piñatas. Just kidding. That was the movie that's from the Three Amigos. The plethora of piñatas. I was going to say there's a plethora of cannabis brands just emerging from everywhere. It's a hot industry, without a doubt. It's here to stay. And one of the things we strive to do, and we're really, really darn good at it, is bringing you companies, founders, brands that are doing something or have something very distinct about them. The fact is, CBD is CBD is CBD. It's a molecule. But when a company or brand or a group of folks really harness something unique, that's where the wheat separates from the chaff. And we're going to dive into Reef Natural. And a couple other things that I know about you, but tell us about the genesis of Reef. Why? Why did it start? Why did you choose to start a CBD company?
Well, it was because of my wife. For the past, we've been married 12 years, and around the 6th year mark, she began having major anxiety to the point where she was having episodes and flopping on the ground like a fish. So we didn't know if it was epilepsy, we didn't know what it was, so we went the hospital route, and we went all the routes that you can with the doctors and psychologists, psychiatrists. But there comes a point where you surpass them on what you know because you're living with that person. And you find yourself getting put to another person that may know something more about it because you've tapped me out. So then after 10 of those, it gets old because nobody really knows what they're talking about, and you're a guinea pig to all the pills that they give you. So she was put on Zoloft and Xanax, but 200 milligrams of Zoloft, Xanax every day for 6 years. And if you know anything about pills like that, you're only supposed to be on them weeks, not months at a time. And so it ends up hurting you. So I was losing my wife. And about 6 years into it, her past came back. She was abused between the ages of 2 and 6, but suppressed it for many years until I gave her a loving home. And I cherished her and loved her, gave her a safe haven. And then those nasty things started coming out to the point where she had 12 people in her, which we call littles. And they each have their own identity and name. So it was hard for myself, of course, working full time, to watch my wife. Thank God I'm self-employed, because I had to check on her many times like an injured puppy. But I didn't know who I was going to confront at the door when I opened it. Was it Sonia? Was it Diane? Who was it? So that was very tough for me, being an EMT and a firefighter, never seeing anything like this in my life. So I said, I need to help my wife because I'm losing her. And I'm going to, for your wife to tell her that I no longer want to live and I'm being a burden to you, that hurts. So it made me get off my butt. Even though all the stuff that I knew medically and the fields that I've been in, nobody knew what was going on, and no one could help her. We're just a number. Here, go home, take this. But when I went home, I had to live reality, not that doctor. If the doctor had to live my reality, this whole world would change. But they don't. It's my life, and I understand that. But I have control, and I'm one that takes control, and that's what I've done all my life. So I did it in this manner as well. 3 years ago, I got my first bottle of CBD. And I got it from Switzerland or Sweden or somewhere. It didn't matter. I wanted to try something. I got it. It came. It was green, goopy, nasty, tastes like crap, but it worked. It worked, man. And I saw a change in her right away. But then it was the time where they weren't taking MasterCard anymore and they were taking Bitcoin. And I didn't want to get into all that, so I couldn't get that product anymore. But I got it elsewhere when it came to the States. So I said to myself, I need to make my own product. I need to go out there and get product first. So that's what I did. I became a wholesaler for the top industry products like Joy, like Select, some of those big people, top 5, top 10, and started using that on my wife, and it started working. And then I said, I want to create my own. I want to make my product better than anybody's out there, and I've got the top 5 that I'm selling. So I've got the perfect products to R&D for my specific product that I know that will be better. So that's what I did. I created Reef Natural. Reef because of Jamaica. I'm tied into Jamaica and a lot of stuff with Jamaica. That'll be a whole nother segment. But Reef came from that respect, being either a big wave reef or a reef coral. I'm an avid diver, night cave dive, sea and freshwater, whatever. But it got me into what did I want my brand to look like, because that was really important to me. I wanted the taste to be great. I wanted the effects to be unbelievable, but I wanted a great looking brand. So I spent a lot of time developing it. I got the brand I wanted, and then I thought I was done, but I was only starting, because there's so many facets of what we have to do as owners of a CBD and hemp related product company. There's many things that you have to do to create these labels. You have to have a logo, of course, but then you have to create what's in it, what is actually in that thing. So then it gets you to the COAs, the Certificate of Authenticity. So you know what's in your product, and that's huge too. So I got that going, got my first 7 products out in 2019, which ranged from a water-soluble to a pet product to a isolate 500 and 1,000 to fruity gummies and sleepy gummies and muscle and joint balm. So my first 7 products came out, and I knew they were better than everybody else's. So I kind of petered off, so to speak, CBDwiser.com, which is one of my companies which sells other products. And I began developing my products and R&Ding many others. So that's what it starts with. It starts with whose product is the best and how do I get it and make it better. That's what I do. So that's pretty much where Reef started. And what I noticed is that our product, I changed Sonia's regiment from the other people's oils and products to ours only. And then we started seeing the real effects. So It took us 6 months to wean her off of the Zoloft and the Xanax, but since 6 months ago, she hasn't taken over 500 something pills that would have been in her belly. And it's a big sack like this. I mean, it's huge. Is it a cure-all? No. She still has episodes, but they're far and few between, and they don't last for 9 hours. So that was great. So my wife got her life back, and I got my wife back. And that's what Reef did for us. And then my thing was spreading it to everybody else that I could. And not worrying about how much money I'm going to make and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to help people, just like I was an EMT and a firefighter. That's what I did. I was a volunteer. I didn't get paid, but you know what? I got that feeling every time, like hitting a hole-in-one in golf. You know, that's what brought me back. So I'm here to help people. That's what I'm doing.
I love it. You know what else I really dig, Dave, and I'm going to put a little editorial message in here, and I have to because I'm a registered nurse, and you know, you've heard me say that, is when one talks about weaning off of medication, that's a personal decision. I know Dave, and I've known Sonia, and so I know that it's absolutely possible, but I would always just advise and just share some with you all that I had the same experience of weaning myself off medications. We did an episode, I want to say, when was it, Chris? Like in episode 30 or 40, and I actually brought my pill bottles in here that I was on. And I just want to reiterate, guys, that we're not recommending or advocating removing yourself from prescription meds, but in our experiences, it's been something that has, it sounds like it's changed your life, and it's changed mine. I love that you talked about you got your life back. She got her life back, you got your wife back, and that's power. And that's one of the distinctions is you all have your origin story. Go back to episode 1, weedtoknowbasis.com. Everybody has their origin story. The reason why one chooses to get into this industry, whether it's as a product creator or a media company, whatever that is, or selling water. This is not CBD. This is Topo Chico. Get your Topo Chico. I'm just kidding. They're not a sponsor yet. Topo Chico. You can always hit us up though if you're interested.
Hit him up.
Go to Weed to Know Basis on Instagram. It's Weed to Know Basis. But back to Dave. You know what? I gotta share this. Is we've done some. We bring guests in live, and some of them are product creators, and they share their stories. But very few actually bring in their stuff. And
oh, really?
I got to share
what it's about.
I got to tell you guys that this is a beautiful thing, because if you don't know what it is a person is selling or sharing, then you don't know what it is they're selling or sharing. And this is as guerrilla marketing as it gets. Is you show up with your brand and you have it on your shirt, and you are literally living.
I live it.
You're living, breathing, and eating your brand, and I dig it. I got to ask you about the Jamaica thing. So Reef, because when one thinks of Reef, there's, from my perspective, I thought of two things. Before I even knew you, is he talking about reefers, or is he talking about reef as in swim, like, you know, the ocean? And so what's the affinity or the tie-in with Jamaica? Why Jamaica?
Jamaica is because in '89, my first time there, and I was on the plane from Miami to Montego Bay, and the whalers, Bob was dead probably 4 years into this, but the Whalers surrounded me. Every seat around me, the group, the Whalers, the band. The Whalers continued to play many years after Bob died. And I got to know all of them, and I got to know Glenn DaCosta, the saxophone player, and him and I hit it off like buddies. And for a couple of years, I'd been going back to Jamaica and talking to Glenn, and Glenn would tell me stories about Bob, and I would be intrigued, saying, I've read most every book about Bob, but I haven't heard what
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley.
The Bob Marley.
The Bob Marley. I've not heard what you're telling me about Bob Marley, and everybody would want to hear this. So he started telling me all this stuff. So for 23 years now, and 65 trips to Jamaica that I've done, specifically for this book that I'm writing, we'll have the book published this year in 2020. And it's about Glenn DaCosta's life and his life with Bob Marley on the road and touring and making the 7 albums that he made with Bob. And it's incredible. I got to talk to people at 9 Mile and all the places that Bob's lived, including Kingston, Jamaica. And I got to interview many people, his principal of the school, his English teacher, who taught him how to speak in parables, which is incredible because Bob spoke in parables, which is incredible. So it's a fascinating story. 2 years ago, I got Zappau back together. They were the #1 band before Bob. Bob said to his people, go out and find the 3 best hornsmen. Well, they took them from Zappau. I brought Zappau back together because they had the #1 hit in the early 60s. I brought them back together 38 years later. Executive produced their album called Zappau Again, which is out right now, VP Records. So go get your Jamaican Zappau, you know. So
you speak Jamaican.
Yeah, I speak patois. Patois it's called, and I've listened and I speak it, and I'm actually building a home. I bought some land outside in Negril in a place called Spring Garden. And if you look at this, that's called Spring Garden.
Let me see that.
That's because of the spring, the natural spring that's on my land that is caught in tributaries, concrete blocks like a U, and goes all the way down to the ocean. And everybody along the way grabs what they want out from a bucket.
That is cool. So this product, that gives a whole new meaning to this specific, this line of product that you have for sure.
Right. So that happened, and I put out the album. I'm putting out the book this year. And it's an amazing book. It's an amazing story, and Bob is bigger than ever. So, but more so than that, I'm working with people down on the West End in Westmoreland in Negril that are in tune with the Ministry of Health, who are backing these people to promote CBD and hemp-related products. They've got products right now that eye drops. They've got unbelievable products that are not out right now, and I can't get right now because of the THC in them. But I'm paving that path right now because I've been a part of Jamaica for a long time. As a matter of fact, this morning I got a hold of Junior Marvin, who's the guitar player for Bob Marley. Okay, so I know Glenn. I contacted him on a message, and I asked him to be my ambassador for Reef. So we're going to see, because I want those guys use their public figures to promote what is just and what is right, because that's what Bob would have wanted. And this is natural, and it's a natural progression for the United States and Jamaica to get together, because Jamaica's got some of the best cannabis out there. Black Swan just recently came out for some cancer and then liver problems.
Right.
It doesn't get rid of it, but it slows it way down, and things are happening there. And there's a place called Orange Hill in Jamaica that's coming out with strands that are unbelievable, that's going to be medically phenomenal. So that's why I'm into it now. So it's much bigger than just this little thing that we're doing right here. There's many plans that a lot of people have, including myself, to help people, and that's what it's about, is helping people.
I dig it. So if Corona is the beer I want on the beach, then Reef is the CBD I want on any beach.
No question, man.
I love it. I love when I hear founders or creators, when they start to talk about their brand or their thing, and it starts to evoke or provoke, a story. And so I love that Reef. It's about the beach, and it symbolizes something, I imagine, differently for people. My wife loves going to the beach. Yeah. It doesn't matter where, usually SoCal, but when we're on the beach, life is just different.
It is different.
And I love that Reef has that element about it. But I also want to mention that this isn't the only thing. The story, your origin story with your wife and your products, that's not the only thing that's distinct. And I'm looking at my notes here, but one of the things that you mentioned, and because we've talked prior to coming on the show, is guys, remember, go to weedtoknowbasis.com if you want to catch the episode on YouTube or wherever. But is you mentioned that you offer free consultations with Canon Nurse Care, and that drew my attention for a few reasons. One is the word free. I mean, honestly, the word free in cannabis doesn't usually mesh in the same sentence, but I'm also a registered nurse, and a free consultation with Canon Nurse Care. Tell us and our viewers, our listeners, about that.
So CanonNurse.care is founded by Julie Peters, and she's my sister-in-law. And she's a registered nurse, and she decided to get into the canna industry, and now she's a certified canna nurse. And when I created Reef Natural, it was only natural for us to get together because Health and wellness all works together. And I'm also an avid vitamin taker with Shackley, and I'm going to enter all of this together because it's really a full spectrum of everything.
It's a lifestyle.
But meeting Julie and Julie bringing her knowledge of being a nurse into the canna industry and then going to school for it and getting a certification, it meant to me everything. It meant to me because I didn't have the knowledge, and I'm still learning. I learn every day, like we all do. And it's a lot of trial and error right now. Yes, they call me Dr. Dave, but I'm no doctor. But Julie's a nurse, and for her to give her services to Reef, well, I had to do something back with her. So she gets this, she uses my product exclusively, and she gets an unbelievable price that she can't pass up to make it happen for her company. But we joined two forces together that were very strong, but offered something different that the industry wasn't doing. That needs to happen, and it's going to happen later, but we wanted to be on the forefront of it. Because launching a product, you can have a great product, but if you don't get it out to the masses, you don't have anything, right. And you're not helping anybody. So bringing Canon Nurse Care into this was hugely important because, not that I like to, but I can pass off things to her in a way that I couldn't before.
Right.
And I'm no doctor, and I don't recommend. I can only tell you my story and what happened with me and my wife. That's all I can tell you. But now Julie can enter so much more into that.
Right.
The constraints about the meds. What med are you taking? How many meds are you taking? When are you taking your meds? How long have you been taking your meds? Can you even take oil? You know, and that's why we offered a water soluble and other products, because a lot of people can't stomach oil. And everybody's learning this by trial and error. But we're gaining knowledge to where we can tell and put awareness out there so people don't have to go through that first. And so on our website, reefnatural.com, you can go there and look through the awareness section. You can look through the Canon Nurse section. So when you click on the Canon Nurse Care tab, it'll bring you to Julie, and it'll tell you about a couple of different things that she offers to the public for free through Reef Natural. And it gets you on your way. If you're a person that's going to spend a lot of time with her, of course, you'll probably get a package together for you that can help you. But I want to tell you one thing. Even though I have Reef products, if there's a product out there that Julie knows that I don't have, that this person needs, I don't give them my product. I give them the best product for them. So that's what we're about. We're finding the best product for them. And you don't have to use mine. I'm going to find you the best one. And that's what's great about Canon Nurse Care. What we can help, we can help. And what we can't, we can't. And we know that. We understand it. But we're still going to help you anyway. And if we can't help you, we're going to tell you we can't help you. You've been taking meds too long. I can't help you. It's just not going to work for you. It doesn't work for everybody. Greatest thing about the product here is this is all black label. So one thing about my business in Reef Natural, I have 3 different labels. This is our black label, which is our 99% pure isolate. So non-THC, so THC free. So we have a black label. We have a broad spectrum, which is our white label. That has some lotions, that has some oils and stuff like that. It has a CBD pen, things like that. And then we also have a green label. The green label is full spectrum. That has up to 0.3% THC. And right now we just have our flower that we have coming out sometime in the next couple months. So look for us, Reef Natural. So another thing that differentiates my company from others, because I'm trying to make it easy for people to understand what's getting thrown out there by people that don't understand. So isolate, broad spectrum, and full spectrum. Those are your 3. Just know them, know what they are, know what they do for you. Your full spectrum could have up to 0.3% THC at this time. And we make sure that all our products are within those guidelines. But that's the newest thing coming out, as well as specified bottles of oil, which I want to come up with later. And that's going to help the Canon Nurse Care, and that kind of industry is going to help me do what I want to do from my future products. My future products will be anxiety. This will say anxiety. This will say inflammation. This will say PTSD.
He's giving away
This
the
will
secrets.
say depression. Listen, I'm not all about me, and I'm not all about the secrets. Listen, I could open a website and you could pay me for everything that I'm telling you right now, but I don't care about that. I'm not about the money. I'm about helping you and your family. That's what I'm about.
Love it. Dave, I love it. I love that you're, I'm sure you guys, whether you're watching or listening, you can feel the passion. It exudes from his pores. And if you guys want to learn more about isolate, broad spectrum, full spectrum, go to his website. I mean, you can even click on the tab that where you can talk to Julie. And I don't know how the talk is done, but it's important for, I think what we all understand and grasp is that education is a huge gap in the industry. And so if some of the things you've heard are still you're wondering or curious, Canon Nurse Care, and it's embedded on the Reef Natural website. So this has been enlightening. There's some things I didn't know, even though I've known you, and some things that if you didn't know, now you know. I love the whole the island feel and Jamaica, and especially the Bob Marley book. That's pretty incredible. I'm going to be looking out for that book. I mean, and he's a busy guy. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff going on.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me, Bob.
The whole truth.
Look for it.
That's going to be the name, huh?
Soon come.
I got it. The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
So help me, Bob. Now that's if the editors, you know about editors, man, they can, right there. So it is what it is.
I love it. But at least when the book comes out, if it's different, you heard from the author, the creator's mouth, what the title should probably.
And I am bringing back the scratch and sniff. I will have a weed thing and it will smell like a skunk.
Scratch and sniff.
And then I'm going to have a braided little hair so you can keep your place in your book. So it's going to be the Jamaican colors. So look for it.
That's pretty cool. Scratch and sniff weed and a braided.
Yeah, man.
Dave, this has been awesome. So I know you mentioned it, but where can people find you?
reefnatural.com or cbdwiser.com, but reefnatural.com is the best one. I own 35 CBD websites. They are all created around Reef Natural and anxiety, PTSD, inflammation, chronic depression. So the future is to combine all those together and have them work independently but congruently with each other. So that's in the future as well.
Love it. Reefnatural.com, y'all. And you're also on Instagram. Is it reefnatural 0.0?
0.0. So yeah, that's my first line out. There's no THC in it, so it's 0.0.
Gotcha. I was curious when I saw that, and we're going to put the links, guys, in the notes. So don't worry if you're driving. Don't try to copy this down or text it. These will all be in the show notes down below on YouTube. Across all the platforms that we're going to broadcast this. But I wondered what the 0.0 now makes sense.
Yeah, because everybody's scared and everybody doesn't understand, and people that have to have the P-test, especially, our military and our firefighters and everybody else. So I want to know that they know there's a product out there that's definitely 0.0 THC, and I've got the COAs to prove it.
And it's their Instagram handle, reefnatural0.0. Dave, it's been a pleasure. It's been awesome having you on, brother.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So remember, guys, if you're watching or listening, first of all, really appreciate it. We produce this. There's no cost to you, the podcast consumer out there. All we ask is that you give us some love, some likes, some shares. Talk about these. Share these. Go to these folks' websites. These are folks who are doing things in the industry to really move the needle in a big way. And remember, we're just beginning. We're in early 2020 recording this, and we're at the very early stages of what will likely be an industry that can potentially shape our lives. I know it's radically shaped and changed mine. But guys, you're here, you're listening because you're looking for an alternative opinion and something that we're bringing to the proverbial green table about the industry, cannabis, CBD, marijuana, the whole 9 yards, lifestyle, culture from a unique perspective. And you're here because you're on a Weed to Know basis. All of you, whether you're watching or listening, remember, thank you so much for tuning in. And as usual, share this, like us, love us, and we'll see you guys next time. See you guys. Peace out from downtown San Antonio at the Pearl. Have an awesome day, guys.
Reef Natural, live life well.
This guy.